You can say it's Christmas in October for petroleum retailers, and that's because after seeking an increase in their profit margin from 44 cents per gallon of gas for almost 10 years, the government finally granted members of the Bahamas Petroleum Retailers Association an increase. This as motorists here in New Providence were finally able to purchase gas for under $5 per gallon for the first time since 2009. Well, ZNS News took to the streets this afternoon to get a feedback from many of you and got mixed views on the marginal increase.
Well, with the increase of fuel by 10 cents per gallon, that means like everything goes up. Custom goes up, freight goes up, the bus fare goes up, cost of living goes up, light bill goes up, water bill goes up. And apparently I'm a fisherman, and it's sort of costly for us because on the island we pay like $7 per gallon of gas in Andres. But when they have to freight it in, and they only pays about $8.50 per pound for lobster.
Well, actually, see, I don't have a car, right? But a lot of Bahamians, right, wanted a car, right? And say, with the buses too, right? They think it's impossible to pay $1.25 for the bus fee. So they figure when they get on the bus, they get jammed up on the buses. And if they get their own car, they can go from point A to point B. So it'll be easier on the economy.
It's good that gas went down by 50 cents, and it's a good thing that the government, that's the best time that the government could give a 10-cent raise or 15 cents for diesel. So I think it's a good time to give it to them, because it's never a good time actually to raise taxes. But once you have to do it, I think it's best time to do it is when the gas go down rather than when it go up.
Thank you so much for your comments. Well, straw vendors in the news again. Vendors claim they're being charged outrageous fees to set up on Woods Rogers Walk. And this time they say it's not the government taking bread out of their mouths, but get this, reportedly one of their own. Here's Clint Watson.
Mixed views from the hundreds of vendors operating on Woods Rogers Wharf. As a group, some claimed that they're being charged $50 a day just to set up on the wharf. This as others pay little or nothing. But here's why they're reportedly paying such a hefty price. Vendors say they pay a $25 fee to rent tents from a supplier, but it's the other half that concerns them.
She's renting the spaces. She said that they're having the tent man and her, they made an agreement, all right, so that she would be able to get something out of the cut, and I don't feel that's fair. I asked a young man, and he said that his tents are $25 a day.
But how much y'all are paying a day?
Some of us are paying $50 a day. Myself, she's charging $50 a day. I asked the young man, why is it that I can't pay him for the tent, the $25 a day? He said I have to pay Esther Thompson.
And where is this money reportedly going?
She said it's going towards an association.
Some vendors share tents, so they split the $50 a day charge. Dominique Molly is one of them.
Reverend Esther Thompson moved my stuff out of my spot last night. You know what she did? I mean, she take bread out of my mouth. I have to feed my child.
Why did she move your stuff?
She's saying that if I don't pay the $50, I have to move. How? Please, somebody in the government, police, whoever it is, come help us, please.
But reportedly, not everyone pays. Those vendors who set up on the walk right after Hurricane Irene operate free of charge. They brought their own tents, umbrellas, or constructed a wooden structure. It's only when everyone else came onto the walk that one vendor reportedly set up a fee and arranged tent rentals. In fact, these tents are now at the front of the market. Like other vendors further down in the market, Marietta Moss wanted to use her own tent, but was prohibited because she reportedly was in an area designated for rentals.
So you had your own tent?
Yes, sir.
And what happened?
The lady,
Ms. Thompson?
Thompson, she made me take it down.
Why she made you take down your own tent?
I don't know, sir. She just made me take it down, so I had to take it down. And we're paying $50 a day for this tent.
Our news team spoke with First Assistant Secretary at the Ministry of Works responsible for the vendors, William Munnings. He said he was aware of the issue.
This was something arranged by some of the vendors, or perhaps a leader who perhaps had the opportunity to speak with some authority, be it from the police point of view and the dock. But our ministry didn't have anything to do with the placement of the people on the dock.
For clarity, who owns the space we are on now?
This is the government's dock. This is government's property.
But at the end of the day, the only person who can rent is who?
I assume the government or through the Port Authority.
ZNS News visited the Port Authority and they were clear they had nothing to do with the vendors' relocation, nor were they aware of any rent being charged for the space. The same for police and tourism. We spoke with Leopold Wright, who had just come out of a meeting with hair braiders when he was approached by some of the vendors. When asked whether tourism sanctioned anyone to collect rent for tent spaces, he responded,
Absolutely not.
No doubt this entire situation and dilemma has made it difficult for vendors. Consider this. When they were under the main tent, they paid $1 a day. In the new market, they're going to pay $30 a week. But out here, some of them are paying $50 a day. It's going to cause many people to consider whether or not vendors can truly afford to pay regular rent. It's not going to make their case any easier. Clint Watson, ZNS News.
Well, after trying to reach Thompson all day, she finally spoke with Clint Watson just before news time. She says these spots are the more lucrative spots and these rates are supplementary rates to ensure the tents are covered each week in costs. She says the area is also the rotation area for hundreds of vendors who are home and would like to come out on certain days. However, Thompson says the tents must still be set up every day, whether occupied or not, so the additional money covers the cost of rental. She noted that these prime spots are rented by the Straw Business Persons Society and not her. Ongoing criminal incidents reportedly taking place outside a government department caused employees to take industrial action today. The incident taking place this morning shortly or following the start of the day. Here's Carla Palmer.
Feeling unsafe and insecure for their personal well-being were reportedly the principal reasons for employees of the Immigration Department located Hawkins Hill taking industrial action this Wednesday.
Not just safety here, we wanted to be known that we have persons at Nassau International, or LPIA, who have the same issues. We have reports of persons almost raped, held at gunpoint, cars being stolen. Those are the central issues happening within customs and immigration.
Vice President of the Bahamas Customs, Immigration and Allied Workers Union, Sloan Smith, says the problems have been ongoing since earlier this year. He says 4 vehicles were stolen, including those of members of the public, from immigration's parking lot.
Beyond that, cars are being broke open almost on a daily basis here. That's a serious issue. So security. But we also we got to say this. Persons have gone across the road and have been robbed coming out of this building. See, we brag about in the Immigration Department about the $50 million raised. But the staff assist in that process. At least thing we can do is ensure that they have a safe working environment.
Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Immigration Brent Simonet confirmed that he knows about the problem.
I've instructed the Deputy Director to make sure this problem is dealt with today so that the occurrence is minimized as much as possible. I had previously spoken to the landlord about getting some fencing on the back of the eastern side of the parking lot over there, which up to yesterday the landlord thought had been dealt with, and they are looking into.
Deputy Prime has been quite accommodating, but we recognize that maybe his instructions aren't being carried out.
I think if there is an issue tomorrow or the next day and he hasn't dealt with it, I think the union have a valid excuse. I trust they will now go back to work.
Minister Simonet is hoping to have the problem resolved by the end of the day, no later than this Thursday. Carla Palmer, ZNS News.